go. So we are now recording. Let me just pin myself so that it's a big screen. That's it. So we're going to start in child's pose. So come down to your mat, take your knees wide, toes together, and just sink your hips back and then slide the hands forward along the mat. So just make that connection with your forehead. Just ease yourself into it. Excuse me. So it's quite nice just to have a little rocking motion sort of from side to side as you just get yourself down into this pose, into Balasana, child's pose. And just allow yourself a few deep breaths here. So taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. Feeling all of the lungs expand on your back. And then breathing out and relaxing back down into the mat. So take a few deep breaths like this. Starting our practice with a little bit of grounding and breathing. Just allowing some movement into the back body, allowing the muscles to move a little bit more freely before we come into our full practice. And I've made it an energizing one today. You might be glad to hear. I think it's a symptom of after Christmas and we all feel a little bit sluggish. It's quite nice just to get back to the practice and do things that we used to do, maybe a little bit stronger. But as with every practice, you only do what feels right for you, and I'll give you lots of options. So just take one more deep breath here. In and out. And then allow your breath to return to normal. Taking a moment. And then on your next inhalation, bring yourself up to an all fours position. So just find that all fours, spread your fingertips wide on the mat, underneath your shoulders, your knees under your hips. Have your toes into the mat. And just take another deep breath here. Just notice the difference. So breathing into the back and breathing out. One more deep breath in. And as you breathe out, really plant your toes into the mat and sit back onto your heels. So have a little bit of a wiggle back onto your toes here. So spread the toes really wide and then release the knees down to the mat. And we'll just do a few joint, if I can say the word, freeing exercises here before we move on. So that this is the Power Muktasana series of exercises. So still keeping that weight onto your feet. So if your feet are sort of just slightly closer than hip distance apart, then you can sit onto the heels and you can feel that stretch coming into the feet. Sit up straight and tall, so find that nice long spine. And then take a breath in and float the hands out in front of you. And then just point them down, so that taking the fingertips down as far as you can. Breathing in, point the fingertips up, imagine you're pressing into the wall in front of you. And then breathing out, pointing them down. Let's do that once more, breathing in, breathing out. And then turn your hands so that the palms are facing up and the little fingers are touching. Breathing in, open the hands, keeping the wrists touching, so we're separating from the fingers. And then breathing out, bring them back together. So it's like a little rotation of the wrist. It's a nice movement into the wrist. Bring them back so that the fingers are touching. And then this time, open. Try and keep your hands straight. And then, as you bring them back together, open from the wrists. So I'm showing it you like this. So I'm opening the hands, touching the wrists together, and then bringing the fingertips, just the little fingers to touch. So just another little bit of movement into the wrists. And then make your hands as fists, so keeping them out strongly in front of you, and rotate them in a clockwise direction. And then send them in the other direction. So we're still stretching our toes here. So hopefully it's taking your mind off it. So reach forward with your hands with the palms facing down. Take a deep breath in. Turn the palms up and bring the fingertips to your shoulders. Breathing in, float the hands back out. Breathing out to your shoulders. This time, we're going to breathe in and open the elbows out to the side so you can feel the shoulder blades sliding together. Try and keep your elbows at shoulder height. Breathing out, draw those elbows together. But breathe in and open. So if you're keeping this nice straight spine, as you breathe out and draw the elbows together, you can feel your tummy muscles engage. Breathe in and opening. Breathing out, bringing them together. Then breathe in and take your hands up to cactus position. So squeeze the shoulder blades back, keep that upright spine. Try and tuck your ribs down so your belly's not jutting out. And as you breathe out, drop the hands down. So keeping the elbows shoulder height. Breathing the hands up, breathing them down. Once more. And down. And then breathe in the hands all the way up and overhead. Bring the palms together. And as you breathe out, sweep them behind you and just reach back as far as you can. So really getting some shoulder mobility here. Breathing in, reaching. Breathing out behind you. And then breathing in, reach forward, release those toes, sit back onto your feet. Just feel all the blood rushing back into your toes and feel how they ease almost straight away. And then take a breath in, reach your hands up and overhead. And as you breathe out, turn to the right and place right hand behind you, left hand alongside your right thigh. As you're looking over your shoulder, breathing in back to center, breathing out around to the left. Breathing in back to center, breathe out, release the hands. Let's just have a little bit of movement into our neck. So breathe in and send your chin forward as if you're drawing a big circle with this chin. So circle in front of your head and then gazing up towards the ceiling, but don't crunch the back of your neck. So you're lengthening the neck. And then breathe out and tuck the chin all the way back to the chest. So it's like a sweeping movement as you breathe in, lifting the chin and breathe out. back to the chest. So the chin is resting on the chest. Take a breath in, relax your shoulders, and as you breathe out, sweep the chin up towards your right shoulder. Breathe out, back to center. Breathe in, sweep it to the left. Breathe out, back to center. Breathe in, lift your head. Let's get some movement, shall we? Take a breath in, reach your hands up and overhead, palms facing forward. Breathe out and send the palms all the way forward to the mat. Swan pose. Breathing in, bring yourself up to all fours. Toes into the mat. Take a breath in here. As you breathe out, lift your knees and your hips, come to downward facing dog. And have a little walk through the feet. Ease out those hamstrings. It might be quite tight. Depends how good you've been over Christmas. Still doing your practice. And then allow the heels to rest towards the mat and drop your head through your arms. Coming into your down dog. Breathing in, shifting forward all the way through plank, rolling over the toes, knees to the mat, hips to the mat. Come to cobra, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Take a breath in here. As you breathe out, toes into the mat, lift yourself up and away, downward facing dog. Let's have another walk with the feet, easing out, and the body moving. And then take a breath in. As you breathe out, knees to the mat, come back to your all fours position. Take a breath in here. Release the toes, breathe out, sink the hips all the way back to your child's pose or extended child's or swan, whatever we're going to call it. And then taking a breath in, float the hands all the way up, palms are still facing forward. And as you breathe out, bring them back to the heart center. Well done. So take your hands back to the mat into your all fours position. And toes into the mat. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, come up to downward facing dog. So should feel better already. Find your down dog. Send your bottom ribs towards your thighs. And just allow your head to drop between your arms, keeping your ears in line with those inner arms. And take 2 really deep breaths here. Just feel how good it feels. Take those deep breaths. And then on your next inhalation, shift forward into plank. So you can plank on your knees if this is too much. So find that nice straight spine, a nice straight line from the back of the head all the way down to the heels. Take 2 nice deep breaths here. Energizing breaths. Breathe in. Lift your hips back into downward facing dog. 2 more breaths. Okay, shift forward into plank on your next inhalation. Take a breath here. And then on your next inhalation, take your right knee to your right elbow. Breathing out, send the toes back into plank. Breathe in, right knee to left elbow. Breathing out, send the toes back. Breathe in, breathe out, downward facing dog. Taking another breath in here. Just press your left foot into the mat and float your right leg up, three-legged dog. Breathe in. Draw the right knee all the way up to the chest, round the spine, come up onto your left toes and step your right foot forward. Drop this back knee down. So we're coming into this lunge position. So taking a breath in here as you sweep your hands up alongside your ears, reaching up to the ceiling. Your gaze is forward. Sit, brilliant. Breathe in, breathe out, hands to the heart center. Breathe in, send your hands forward. So there's a gap between your hands. They're about hip distance apart. Take a breath in here. And as you breathe out, open the hands so that your right hand comes back behind you. It's a little twist. You're looking back over your right shoulder. Breathe in, hands back to the front, just that gap between them. Breathe in, out, is that right? Breathe where you want to breathe. Breathing in to close, breathe out. Maybe the other way. Let's breathe in and open and breathe out to bring them back. I think that works better. Once more, open. Right, now we've got a little option here for you. See if you can lift your back knee away from the mat when we open the arms. It's a bit of a challenge. You need to engage your tummy muscles, engage that left hip, press the right foot into the mat and come up to this strong balance. Do it whichever way is right for you. Help yourself up. That's it. Brilliant. Breathe in. So tuck your tailbone under here. So you're holding yourself into this upright position. And then can we add a little bit more? Come up onto your front toes. So you're balancing on your toes. Well done. Breathe out. Take your hands all the way back to the front, down onto the feet and come down to the mat, back into lunge position. Oh, that's got the blood flowing, hasn't it? So release your right knee, take your knees wide, toes together and sink back into Balasana. Just take a breath here. Let everything settle. And then breathing in, come back up into all fours. Take another breath in as you step your right foot back and then your left foot, you're back into plank. Breathe in, breathe out, downward facing dog. Reposition your feet if you need to. We're just going to move freely between plank and down dog 3 times. So breathing in, into plank, breathing out, down dog. So trying to keep your hands and your feet in that same position as you just flow between the two. 3 times. Good arm strengtheners and shoulder mobility here. Once you've done 3, end up in your downward facing dog. Plant your right foot into the mat as you take a deep breath in and breathe the left leg up into the air, 3-legged dog. Breathing in, draw this left knee all the way up to your right shoulder and elbow, that's what it is. Breathe out, send it back behind you. Breathing in, left elbow. Breathe out. Send it behind you. Breathing in, draw it all the way up to your chest. Come up onto your right toes, round the spine, and step the foot forward. Drop the right knee down. Come into your lunge position. Take a breath in, reach the hands up. So the hands alongside the head. Fingertips reaching up to the ceiling, your gaze is forward, finding that length from the top of your head all the way down your back, down your right knee, nice straight line. Breathe in, breathe out, hands to the heart center. So I'm just going to shimmy around so that I've got my back to you. So take a breath in here. Reach your hands forward. So let's try breathing like this. So take a breath in and float the left hand back behind you. So we're getting that twist, keeping your hips facing forward here. And then breathe out. Hands come back to the front. Still hip distance apart. Breathe in to open. That feels better, doesn't it? Keep your shoulders down and relaxed. Breathe out. Hands back to the front. Breathing in to open. You get that twist of the waist. If you focus on keeping those hips pointing forwards towards your knee, you'll get the really good twist into the waist. And then bring the hands back to the front. And then open once more and decide you want to try this challenge. So left foot is planted into the mat. We're on our right toes. Take a breath in, engage the right, left hip. Press into the mat and bring yourself up. Rights and lefts, always a bit of a problem. So let the shoulders relax. Open those hands out to the side. A bit of a balance, so you might want to point and find your point of focus. Keep the shoulders open. And then if you want that extra little bit of challenge, take a breath in and come up onto your right, left, I told you it was a problem, left toes. Oh, so we're balancing on our toes. And then breathe the hands all the way back to the front. Breathing out, release the knee to the mat. Release the other knee and come back to your child's pose. Just reach the hands forward. Take a breath. Let it all settle. And then breathing in, bring yourself back up to an all fours position. The knees are under your hips, hands under your shoulders, toes into the mat. Take a breath in, Lift your hips and walk your feet up to your hands. Uttanasana, forward fold. Just let your head drop towards the mat. Have some softness in the knees. And just let your chest rest on your thighs. Drop the top of the head towards the mat. Just let the head, the weight of the head, help you here. And then breathing in as you bring your hands to your shins, find that half forward fold. Ardha Uttanasana, finding the length of the back of the neck, send the crown of the head out in front of you. Breathe in, breathe out. Hands back to the mat, Uttanasana. So plant the hands onto the mat and step right leg back and then left leg. We're back in downward facing dog. Take a breath here. Press your left foot into the mat and float your right leg up, three-legged dog. Breathing in, sweep that right knee up to your chest, all the way forward and through. Drop the left knee. Taking a breath in, float the hands up alongside the head. And this time, drop the left hand to the left waist. Keep the right hand extended, breathing in. As you breathe out, just gently reach to the left. So it's a nice side stretch. Breathing in, back to center. Breathing out to the left once more. Breathing in, back to center. Last time, left side. Back to center. Release. Take your hands back to the mat and step back to downward facing dog. Take a breath here. And then breathe into the right foot. And as you breathe out, extend the left leg, three-legged dog. Breathing in, drawing that knee all the way up to the chest, forward and through. Drop the right knee. Breathing in, coming up to this upright position, extending the hands up to the ceiling. Find that balance, keep your tummy muscles engaged. Breathe in, breathe out, right hand goes to the waist. Breathe in, breathe out, reaching over to the right side. Keeping that balance, finding that nice side stretch. Reaching the hands back up into towards the ceiling. And then breathe out as you stretch to the side. Once more. And then breathing in, release the hands back to the mat. Release your left foot and lift your hips. Walk your feet all the way back to Uttanasana, forward fold. Breathing in. Take your hands out wide, come up with a strong, straight spine. Reaching up. Take your gaze to your palms. And as you breathe out, bring your hands to the heart center. So relax your shoulders here. Engage your tummy muscles. Nice, long, straight spine. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, step your right leg back behind you. So we're going to stay up on the right toes here. So another little balance. So breathe in, and as you breathe out, just bend the left knee. So trying to keep the back leg quite straight. You might need to reposition the feet, because we want to keep that left knee above the ankle and the right leg straight, balancing on the toes. Engage the tummy muscles. Breathing in, float the hands up and overhead. Draw the palms together. And as you breathe out, bring the palms all the way down through the midline, and then place your right elbow on your left thigh as you twist to the left. So this is a little bit tricky. You need to do it with control to keep that balance. If it's not working for you, you can drop the heel down to the mat, or you can drop the back knee to the mat. The focus, keeping that balance, gets us breathing. That's it, well done. Gets the energy flowing. Breathing in. Just turn and look to the mat. Just by your left foot, your elbow is still resting on your thigh. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, step your right foot to meet the left. So you're sitting back almost in a chair position, still twisting to the left. Breathe in, breathe out, release your hands to the mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. Take a breath here. And then breathe in the hands all the way out to the side. Come up with a strong, straight spine. Reach up and overhead. Bring your hands to the heart center. Just notice your breath here. Let your breath calm your body down. When we go into a little bit of a panic, when we do something that's a bit stronger, and our nervous system takes over. So we just want to breathe and tell it it's all fine. We're all okay. We can do it on the other side. Let's stand up straight and tall. Take a breath in. Step your left leg back this time. So keeping up on those left toes. So find that distance that's right for you. You might want to shimmy it back a little bit more, because you're going to take a breath in. And as you breathe out, you're going to sink into that front leg. So bend in the right knee, keeping the knee above the ankle, extending the back leg. Tummy muscles engaged. Take a breath in and float your hands up and overhead. Palms come together. Keep your focus here. Breathe in, breathe out. Bring the hands through the midline, twisting around to the right. So do it slowly with focus, and you'll keep your balance. So the palms are coming towards the chest. Try and lift the chest so that the palms are in the center by the sternum. And your right elbow goes up to the ceiling. Breathe in here. Find that balance. And then turn and gaze at your right foot. Take a breath in here. And as you breathe out, step the left foot forward. Oh, lost my balance. So sit back into this twisted chair. Keep the palms tightly towards each other. Take a breath. And then release your hands to the mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. Breathing in, take your hands to your shins. Half forward fold, find that flat back. Breathe in. Breathe out, hands to the mat. Uttanasana. So plant your hands into the mat. So bend your knees enough so that you can do that. And then just shimmy your feet out a little bit wider. And we're just going to sit back into a squat. And release yourself to the mat. So we're going to do a little stretch in a squat here. So it's a good idea to get your mat and just roll it back a little bit. And then catch the mat with your heels. So I'm squatting now onto the mat. So this is allowing me to keep in this squat without rolling back. So your toes should be able to point forward. Your feet are about hip distance apart, and we're in this deep squat. So if you find that you're still falling back, then roll the mat up a little bit more, or you can even place a block or a rolled up blanket or something under you. So if you're quite stable, then start to drop your shoulders down between your inner thighs. So you're sort of really working your back down here. And you're using the backs of the upper arms to push back on the knees. And we're just going to reach our hands forward. So don't worry, I'm not going to make you do crow or anything like that. We're just going to reach forward. So we're getting a nice stretch into our hips and working our ankles. And then slide the left hand as far forward as you can. Take a breath in and float the right hand up to the ceiling. A bit of a balance again. Engage the tummy muscles. Breathe in and breathe out. Both fingertips back to the mat. So we're going to try the same on the other side. So really keep the right shoulder to the inside of your right knee. And if you create that connection between the two, then it'll help with the balance. So right fingertips are reaching forward. Take a breath in. Breathe it out. Left hand floats up. Keep in that squat. You'll feel this in your thighs. As you keep in the balance, keep your tummy muscles engaged. And then float the hand back. Well done. And then allow yourself very elegantly sit back on the mat and tuck the knees underneath you. Take your knees wide and slide out into Balasana. Just take a resting breath here. Well done. Breathing in, come back to all fours. So we're going to try another little balance in a moment. So toes into the mat, take a breath in. As you breathe out, lift your hips and walk your feet all the way to your hands. Uttanasana, forward fold. Drop the head towards the mat. Should be feeling good now. You can get into your forward fold. And then breathing in, take your hands to your hips and bring yourself up. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Okay, I'm going to try a little balance. So I'm going to stand sideways on. Now it might be an idea for you to have a block at the top of your mat. I've got mine, so there it is. Just put a block somewhere at the top of your mat. And we're standing around about halfway down the mat, or just below halfway. So hands to your hips, find your drishti, take a breath in and bend your right knee and bring the knee up towards you. So your knee is at a 90-degree angle. Oh. Test your balance this morning. Right, take a breath in here. Relax your shoulders, engage your tummy muscles. On your next exhalation, you're going to slowly, slowly tip the upper body forward as you send the knee back behind, just gently tipping forward. We're going to release our right hand to the mat or to your block. The block is going to help you to keep this position. How are you doing? That's it. So the right hand is on the block, extending that left leg out behind you. Your gaze is to the mat. Find some length in your neck. Take a breath here. Here comes the challenge. Engage the tummy muscles. And as you breathe out, you can slowly transfer the weight back onto your left foot. Release the hand. Don't touch the floor. Oh, with your right foot. Bring it back to that balance. How did we do? I'm going to watch you next time. Release the shoulders and then release the foot to the mat. Just have a little shimmy. Ease out any tension. So you should have a good idea of where you want the block to be now. We just want to shift it a little bit more to the left. And stand up straight and tall. Release the shoulders down. Take a breath in, weight into the right foot, find your drishti as you lift the left knee. Engage the tummy. Just let the foot hang there. Try and make that 90-degree angle. So take the foot a little bit further away. Is that Sue? Yeah, I think it's Sue. Just let the knee come up a little bit higher. And then the foot will just hang. So you're making like a box shape. That's it. So now find your drishti once more. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, start to tip forward. Send that leg behind you. And release the left hand to the block. So the leg is extended behind. Take a breath here. Watching you. Right, find your focus, engage your tummy muscles and very gently bring yourself up without touching the floor with your right foot. Slowly, slowly Ooh, nearly. Brilliant. Brilliant. It's a tricky one, isn't it? It's all about focus. So bring yourself back to that position with your knee just hanging out there in front of you. And then release. Well done. So it's like with all things, with balance. Some days it works, some days it doesn't. So let's just try one more thing. So standing up straight and tall, your feet are hip distance apart. Take a breath in as you reach your hands out wide, up and overhead. Take your gaze to your palms. And as you breathe out, bring the hands all the way down the midline, down to the mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. Really plant your hands into the mat here. So have a bend in the knees. Imagine that you were going to do a handstand. So you're dropping that weight into your hands. You're dropping the top of the head into the hands. We're not doing a handstand. I wouldn't be that cruel to you. So take a breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to release your right leg up into the air. So it's like a standing splits. So you're just dropping the head down to the mat. That's it. So as you float the leg up, try and send the knee closer, or your nose closer to your knee. And then step the foot back into your Uttanasana. Just take a breath here. And we're going to try the other side. So really plant the hands. Get that feeling that you're dropping the crown of the head. So it's almost as if you're moving forward with the weight. Soften the knees. Take a breath in. Plant the right foot into the mat. Send the left leg up. One day, we'll get the leg straight up into the air. One day. Brilliant. And now release the foot. Take your gaze down to the mat. Feet wide, almost as wide as the mat if you need them. Two, we're going to sink down. So take a breath in and sink into your Malasana. And then release onto the mat. Well done. So how are we doing? Yes, so just tuck your feet out towards your body and just allow the feet to go out towards the right side of the body. So you're resting on the left bum cheek here. So if you find that too much, you can take your block and put it under your left side. So it'll help you to sit a little bit more upright. But if you can let the left hip rest down, then we're sitting in this position like the Little Mermaid. You know, the one in Copenhagen, not the Disney program. So drop your, I watched a lot of that over the weekends. I had the kids on New Year's Eve, can you believe it? So drop the shoulders down. Engage the tummy muscles. Breathing in, float the hands up alongside your ears. And as you breathe out, twist to the right and then drop the hands. Right hand behind you, left hand just resting on your right ankle. And you can use that to help you to twist around and look over your right shoulder. Just hold here for a few breaths. Keep the shoulders down and relaxed. Just breathe. And then breathing in. Release the hands all the way back to center. Breathe out. Release the hands. So lift your weight forward so that you can release the feet to the left-hand side and place your right bum cheek down on the mat or on a block, you decide. So sit up straight and tall before we do anything. We don't want to feel that we're dropping over to the side, so we really want to find that straight spine. Imagine what your spine looks like. So you can just visualize that it's coming from your pelvis and then starting to bend over towards the right before trying to find that straight position. So see if you can shift the hips so that your spine is going to come into a much more upright position, and relax the shoulders. Engage your tummy muscles. Breathing in, float the hands up. Breathing out, twist into the left. Left hand behind you, right hand on the left ankle. Just looking over that shoulder. Using that hand on the left ankle to help to pull you around. You'll get further. And keep breathing. And then breathing the hands all the way back upright, back to center. Breathe out and release. Well done. Release the legs out in front of you. Come down to the mat into semi-supine. And just have a little massage of the back and maybe even a little roll. Just do whatever feels good. And then come back to your semi-supine just for a moment. Just let the body settle. And then let the hands float out into a T shape. Palms facing down. Take your feet as wide as the mat. And just windscreen wiper your knees over to the right, back to center, and over to the left. So you can do it slowly with your breath if you want to, or if it's feeling good to just allow them to move and really try and bring the knees down to the mat, just easing out through the spine. Another nice little twist. And it's a good stretch of the, when you move to the right, you get a really good stretch down the left hip. And then when you move to the left, the top of the right hip gets a really good stretch coming up into the psoas muscle. So bring yourself back to semi-supine, bring your feet together, release your hands, and set yourself up for your Shavasana. So get your layers. Come down to the mat when you're ready. Come down to the mat, lying out in Shavasana. Have your hands alongside your body in a gentle V, palms facing up. Have your feet hip distance apart, let the toes drop out to the side. All your work is done. Just take a few deep breaths here. Allow your body to relax down into the mat. Releasing any tension from the top of your head, over your face, and your shoulders. Use your breath here with each exhalation. Just let go. Releasing your shoulders, your arms, and your hands. Breathing in nice and deeply. And breathing out. And as you breathe out, just feel that you're placing your body down onto the mat. Feeling the back of the head and the shoulders and the spine resting into the mat. And then releasing any tension from your hips. Just let them drop open. Your legs and your knees. All the way down to your ankles and your feet. Using that breath once more to just rest the body down into the mat. Breathing in and out. Let's stay in here for a few moments, allowing the body to rest. And I'm just going to read you a little quote. It came from the Buddha. I don't know if you're a fan of New Year's resolutions. Sometimes I do them. Most of the times I don't stick to them. So I like this quote that comes from the Buddha. See what you think. Meditate. Live purely. Be quiet. Do your work with mastery. Like the moon, come out from behind the clouds. Shine. I think we can take that into the year ahead. When you're ready, start to bring some movement back into your body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes, your wrists and your ankles. And on your next inhalation, float your hands up and overhead and do a full body stretch. And just point from your fingertips to your toes. And then rest your hands on the floor behind you. Take a breath in, bend your knees, plant your feet on the floor. And as you breathe out, just roll over onto your right hand side. And just hug your knees up a little closer to your chest. And then when you're ready, bring yourself back up to a seated position. So I hope everyone's feeling okay, nice and energized. And we'll finish with our 3 breaths together. So take your fingertips out to the side, sit up straight and tall. Breathing in, reaching up and overhead. Breathe out, hands to the heart center. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last time, breathe in. Breathe out. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Happy New Year. And I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it's got you